Newcastle 2, Liverpool 2. Should we all just take a deep breath? Let's have a moment. Because I forgot how exhausting, how draining, how intense Premier League football is. Forgot the stuff Liverpool put us through. Another late goal. We saw that a lot last season, actually at St James's Park. 99th minute this time around. Dominik Szoboszlai with the penalty. Pretty good penalty as well. And my overriding feeling is relief, I guess. I think a draw would have been a fair result, to be honest. I don't think either team played amazing, but Newcastle were probably better than a lot of people expected, and they started the game so quick. The Kevin Keegan tribute was amazing. I think we all knew at that point there's going to be fireworks. And, I mean, it started like that, didn't it? The patterns from pre-season, they have continued into the first game of the season. And that's what I was saying. When people say pre-season, you don't learn anything, I'm sorry, that's for casuals. Because you're going to learn a lot from your team, especially under a new manager. We're trying to go into this new era and become more defensively solid. But I don't think it's possible when we've got the midfielders that we have. We saw it against Monaco. We saw it against Como. We saw it against Leeds. We don't have the profiles who are positionally disciplined enough to chill. Not always want to get ahead of the ball. And that's how their first game goal actually came about. We started brightly in those first few minutes. Xhaka was kind of punching it into Gravenberch, who is so good on the half turn, but he's our deepest midfielder. It kind of was a three in midfield at times. Szoboszlai more as a right-hand sided 8, Wirtz floating over towards the left. And Gravenberch, I think he done really well to get towards their box. And then the move broke down. He picked the wrong pass, went over to the left when he probably should have gone right. And before you know it, one pass, Newcastle are directly through onto our back four. Ursula, who's a striker I rate quite a lot, to be fair, picks the right pass at the perfect time. Elanga, you see Elanga sprinting, even if it's up against Kirkes, who is fast. No one's going to catch him. So the blame for this goal is solely on the midfield. And Elanga does really well to actually finish it. To be fair, Alisson could have done slightly better, was too far over to his near post. And then, I'm worried. I'm worried about where we're going. Could this game run away from us? We needed a bit of experience to kind of put our foot on the ball and stop any momentum Newcastle would have. And up until half-time, I thought we were okay. Not too much went on in terms of chances, a few counter-attacks, more for Newcastle. We weren't really getting Isak involved in the game. Wirtz was losing the ball too much. I mean, he probably had the best chance with that shot. It was a half chance, good save from their keeper. All of Newcastle's new players actually looked pretty solid for me. And yeah, it was only after half-time where I thought, okay, this is it. We stepped our foot on the gas. We turned it up. The intensity levels were there. I think our wingers were tucking in slightly more. We had more players operating in the half spaces, and you saw that with Cody Gakpo's goal. He drifts inside, comes over to the right-hand side more. Ryan Gravenberch, nice little pass around the corner, gets on the turn, and then that right foot. It can be a cannon. Went into the bottom corner, and I'm thinking, here we go. Let's get a second. But what actually followed was quite the opposite. 5 minutes. That's all it took them to go back in front. And it was the same pattern. It's another counter-attack. Too many men forward for Liverpool. I think Xhaka and Van Dijk, at this point under Iraola, aren't used to having to squeeze in and actually go into areas where maybe it's uncomfortable for a centre-back. But that's what Iraola's style of football is all about. Maybe, hopefully, that will come in time. But the midfield, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, is too easy. Visser turns them. They're all... You could put a blanket over them. You really could. And yet they didn't make the tackle. They didn't make the professional foul to stop that. One of them should have taken the yellow card. I don't know if any of them were on yellow cards at that point. Maybe just Gravenberch. Can't remember. But one of you has to do it because you had the warning signs in that first half. And it leads to another goal. Visser carries the ball for so far. I'm laser off to Joe Willock, who takes a few touches, just come off the bench himself, and the finish is magnificent. Alisson can't do anything about that. Post and in. And then, I'm seriously worried because I'm thinking, how are we going to create chances? We didn't create anything during the game, really, when you think about it. It was a moment of brilliance from Gakpo. To be fair, he did have that half chance where he went through after their second goal, towards the end of the game. He was on his left foot, tried to cut back, probably should have just shot. He was one of our better players today, Cody Gakpo. Isak was anonymous, really. Thought he backed out of a few 50-50s. Looked like he wasn't really up for it. And it was always going to be tough for him going back there. The abuse that he was getting, obviously didn't take the penalty at the end, but we'll touch on that in a moment. Just would have liked to have seen him maybe get more touches and be involved in general, play much more. I think that's to come though. I'm actually not that worried about Isak. I'm more worried about Florian Wirtz, who got hooked after 60 minutes. And to be honest, that's a worry. The fact that Iraola has identified him as one of the players who could get subbed. You spend that much money on him, you probably think, well, the bench isn't great, so it's up to Florian Wirtz to try and pick the lock and get us back into this game. McAllister comes on. So does Victor Munoz, who had a big impact on the game. I wouldn't say he was amazing, but Rio was terrible, so it was an improvement. Rio's 17. Maybe he's not a right winger. Well, he's not. He's a left winger. And it's not a smart idea to continually play him over there as a starter. I think he can be a good impact sub over there. He's just got no confidence on that side. He's so predictable. Lewis Hall had him all game. But Munoz offered something different because he's slightly faster, he's stronger, he plays with more intensity off the ball. And that obviously led to the goal. His anticipation was great in picking up that second ball, drives into the box. Lewis Hall, who, like I said, was amazing. There's contact. His knee touches his thigh. He goes down. As soon as I saw it, that's a penalty. And then I'm thinking, who's going to take this? Is it going to be Isak? Is it going to be Szoboszlai? That's a debate that we've had going into the season. It was going to be one of those two. Context-wise, maybe Isak didn't fancy it, and understandably so. I wanted Szoboszlai on it, even though he missed our last one, the last one that he took for us against Burnley last January, I believe that was. He goes to the left every time. He slaps it top bins. And like I said, relief. Relief is the emotion from today because we came away with a point. It feels like a win, really. We're about to lose to a Newcastle team who weren't really tipped for much going into this season. A load of new players, a new manager, maybe slight nerves from their fan base today. But they done well. They performed better than most people would have expected. Liverpool were probably average, maybe slightly below average. But you go away to St James's Park on the first day of the season, I think you're going to take a draw. It's really not the worst result for Liverpool under a new manager. We're in a new era, plenty of things to improve. And yeah, we move on to next week against Nottingham Forest at home. That is the early kickoff, I believe. I'm doing these match reviews after every game for Liverpool this season. So if you do like this longer form content, then please like, subscribe. We're going to go through many ups and downs this season. Let's just hope next week is going to be an up at Anfield. We should be beating a team such as Nottingham Forest, who also have a new manager. But yeah, we'll see. Links in the description to all of my other platforms. I appreciate you watching all of this video. If you've got this far, like I said, show some support, get in the comments. And yeah, I'll be back next week to see what we can do against Nottingham Forest.